Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another live this morning. And hope you're having a great day. And I'll wait for a few folks here to come on and get their notifications. And good to see some people coming. Here we go. And as we start to crawl up, let me say hello to a few folks here. Andrea, Niagara Falls, you're number one. Brahim, good morning. Portland, Oregon. And Jen from Cape Breton. Beautiful. Michael from Norland. I bet you it's snow there, Mike. John from Elgin, Illinois. Mary, good morning. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. Jeanette from our staff, and Wendy, Markham, Fran, Orangeville, Carrie, Nebraska, Micheline, snowy day. Yeah, we didn't get the climate change memo. Hi, Fran and Donna. Cease from the Netherlands, Zian, Adeline, Judy, good morning, Debbie, and Bill. We appreciate you guys. Len and Judy, Edmonton, Alberta, and Lisa Marie, Deb from Detroit, Michigan, Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, from Hearst, Ontario, Jeanette, Diane from LaSalle, Vera, Newfoundland, Arlene, good morning. Misty. I like that, Misty. From Virginia. Good morning, Dave. And Holly. Veronica, how are you? Adrian. Bayview in Tirana. I know that area very well. And Mike is saying more rain than snow. Tara. Carol. Newfoundland. Fran from Sudbury, and Sharon, Lakefield. There's Dr. McEwen. Good morning, Doc, from West Tennessee. Carol Ann and Sharon. Diane, another Diane. Frida, snowy Sudbury. Holly from Kansas. It was 80 degrees, 48 today. Yolande, bonjour, and Moncton, New Brunswick. And Helena and Donna. You guys are great. Thanks for coming on. Thea and Jeanette. We appreciate you guys. Okay, Michelle, here we go. This is a really interesting study that came out. Okay? I think you're going to find it interesting. Because you would never think of this. I mean, I don't think you would. Now, if you read my book, The Reset, the Metabolic Reset, okay? By the way, new one coming out, okay? Coming out. My part, my goal is to have my book finished, my part. Then off to the publishing and, you know, the printing of that. Well, that's up to them. That's not up to me, but my part's going to be done. But if you read my book, The Reset, you might have noticed it, I have it in my book, a sign that you have insulin resistance. Now, listen to this, okay? This is a new study, and the headline on the study is Don't ignore skin tags. Don't ignore it. Why? Okay? You got skin tags? It said don't ignore it. Now, I've said this, it's, you know, sort of obscure because people, you got a skin tag. But what the study is saying, now there have been other studies on this, but this is the most recent. It's saying this, okay? Don't ignore skin tags. It is a sign of hyperlipidemia. Now or hyperinsulinemia, okay? Meaning what? Insulin resistance. High circulating insulin. If you have skin tags, This is what the study is saying, okay? 11 times more likely that you have metabolic syndrome. Now, again, metabolic syndrome, okay? 5 or 6 signs. Your triglycerides are high. Your HDL is low. They're upside down, okay? Belly fat, high blood pressure. You don't have to have all of them, 3 of them. High uric acid levels, okay? Those are signs of metabolic syndrome, okay? Those are classic. But what the study is saying on skin tags is that if you have a skin tag, you're 11 times more likely to have metabolic syndrome. And remember, metabolic syndrome comes from food. It comes from sugar and crappy carbohydrates, things that turn to sugar rapidly. Okay? Now again, I have that in my book, written, I can't remember, what year was my book? 2020? The last one? I think it's a couple of years, right? Now, isn't that interesting? Skin tags. Holy moly. I didn't know that. A lot of people told me that after we put it on our... Now, listen, let me give you a few more, okay? Because if you have your books with you, okay, and on page 21, under check engine light, okay, do you remember that? Okay? Well, I have these check engine light things, and one of them is skin tags. The other one, cataracts. What? Yeah, because, now remember now, okay, because people, they can't get this because in their minds they've been taught something else. Okay? They've been taught something else. Check engine light, indicators. And people don't put this together because nobody ever talks too much about insulin resistance. They don't talk about it because they look at diseases. But way before that disease, remember about diabetes. Let's just talk about diabetes for a second. When your blood sugars are high, doctors will give you a diagnosis. You know what? It actually happened to one of my friends. They got called into their doctor's office. When the doctor calls you to come into their office, you're in doo-doo. It's never good. But I knew what was happening because that particular friend sent me their blood work. And I said, you're in deep trouble. You're a diabetic. And you've been a diabetic a long time. Because remember, blood sugar is a lagging indicator. What we're talking about today in terms of skin tags is something that would often comes first. And people don't relate it to the issue, which is insulin resistance. Too many carbs over a period of time, the body develops what we call insulin resistance. Remember the bad neighbor. It insists on coming around. That's insulin. Insulin's your friend until it's not. Insulin's your friend till it's not. Because it all depends on what you eat. Now, if you insist, when 93% of the population have insulin resistance, 93%. Only 7% of the population doesn't have some form of metabolic syndrome, and metabolic syndrome is 100% caused by food. It's not caused by genetics. It's not caused because my daddy had this and I got this. No, has nothing to do with that. We're talking metabolic syndrome, and metabolic syndrome is food. And some people are more sensitive to insulin. Okay? And if they're more sensitive to insulin, that's a good thing. But very few, 7%. Remember when I used to say, even in the book, my last book, Metabolic, I brought all the studies, and they said on the observation of all the studies on metabolic syndrome, they said only 12% of the population was healthy. That's going back to 2016 originally. But it got worse and worse and worse to the point in 2022, they said we're down to 7% of the people in this country are without metabolic syndrome, any form of it. But your body gives you indicators. I used to have a big chart in my office, a big color chart on the indicators for insulin resistance. How do you know? Without any blood test or whatever, how would you know? Is your body giving you indications? And one of them is skin tags. And again, I said that back then, and I put it up on a chart in my office for patients to read. Big chart, you couldn't miss it in my office. And second, the world is saying it. The studies are saying it now, even more. What? Skin tags? Yep, it's your body saying, hello, hey, you out there, you're not listening. Change your diet. You're not listening. Remember what I said about the bad neighbor? Can you imagine a neighbor coming and outside your all day long going, hello, open the door, I want to talk to you. Have you ever had a neighbor like that? Insulin is your friend till it's not. And insulin, if a person decides and continues to be a carboholic, insulin will do its job. It will come around and come around and come around because insulin will not allow your blood vessels to have too much sugar in it. It won't do it. It's got a job to do. So it'll come knocking on your cell walls and saying, hello there. I need you to open the door because I got sugar and I got to store it. The traffic cop. Okay? It's food. And I know the world out there, Dr. Martin, moderation. Brought to you by the food companies. Brought to you by the pharmaceutical companies. Remember our overarching principles, okay? The pharmaceutical companies know nothing about nutrition. Medical schools know nothing about nutrition. And big food don't care about your health. They don't. They make things tasty. They have a taste squad. They have scientists working for them to get the right crunch from cereal to potato chips. From cookies to whatever's in the middle aisles of the grocery store. They have scientists. They're smart. We need to hook people. How do we keep them hooked? I know. We're going to hook them with taste, sweetness, the right amount of saltiness and taste. Guys, if you understand those two principles, okay? Now, let's get back to skin tags. The body's saying, hello, you. This is a good neighbor. They're coming to warn you. You're on the don't get on the Titanic. Or if you're on the Titanic, change course. Stop. Hello. Okay, let's look at a few more. Okay? Let's look at a few more. Cataracts. People ask me about that all the time. Doc, cataracts. Well, everything in your eyeball depends on blood supply. If someone insists on eating sugar and bread and noodles and cereal and pasta and they are allowing too much sugar in the bloodstream. The body goes crazy to try and regulate that. But eventually, sugar destroys blood vessels in a short period of time. Doesn't take long. And they start their little work of damaging blood vessels. And when damaged blood vessels, remember, blood vessels are everything. The life of the flesh is in the blood. Your life is in those blood vessels. 60,000 miles. And sugar destroys them. They start with the little capillaries. And your body starts screaming, hello, help. Skin tags, change your diet. Cataracts in the eye, change your diet. Low energy. Well, that can be a lot of things, but I'm just telling you, these are indicators. Weight gain. Remember, when insulin is present, you can't lose weight. And you have to remember this, okay? Let's say this morning, it's all choices. Let's say this morning you had oatmeal. Oatmeal. Yeah, but Dr. Martin, my doctor said, I know, your doctor said, but you don't need oatmeal. But let's say you did. Let's say one of your friends had oatmeal. That turned to sugar rapidly. You might as well have had a chocolate bar. And then you had a glass of orange juice. You might as well have had a Pepsi. What's the difference? Yeah, but Dr. Martin, it's Tropicana. I know. I don't care. You still need a lot of insulin. And when insulin is there, it's present, and it's going to, because it's got a lot of work to do, for a couple of hours after you eat, especially, insulin is still around. It's doing a job. It's mopping up. Well, what happens? You gain weight because insulin will not allow fat to escape your body. It wants fat in order to put the sugar in there. Fat cells. Got it? It's all about choices in food. I never tell people not to eat. Now listen, I shouldn't say that. I told you not to eat yesterday. Don't eat at night, is what I said. Okay? I want you to eat, but not late. And for some people, do I like eating windows? Yes, I do. I do. I did not eat this morning yet. I didn't. Okay? Now that's me. You give me water. Okay? Even when I'm drinking my water, I'm thinking about coffee. But I had my water this morning. Okay? Already 16 ounces. Half a liter. I had that. It's a habit. I will not allow myself a coffee. I don't care if I'm in Timbuktu. I will not allow myself a coffee until I've had water. I had water. I had coffee this morning. And I'm fine. Now, for some people, like if you're diabetic or whatever, you might have to get up and eat. It's what you eat. If you have bacon and eggs, believe me, insulin is on the sideline. It doesn't mean insulin won't be there, but it's going, boy, I got very little to do because nothing's happening quickly. That is nutrient-dense food, and insulin sort of sits on the sidelines and enjoys the view. Doesn't have much to do. It doesn't have to fill up the Costco parking lot with cars. Isn't that wonderful? It's all choices, okay? Now, back to indicators. Low energy. I don't care what low energy you have. I always tell people to do the reset, okay? Do the reset. You might have hormonal issues, but even hormones, oftentimes with the reset. What a difference. You gotta start in the kitchen. You have to start with food. Digestive issues. Yeah, it could be a lot of things, but one thing we know about acid reflux, we talked about it yesterday. Your body was meant to eat meat. If you insist on not eating meat, you're going to change your digestive tract. Your stomach pH will change, and your body's going to scream at you. How does it scream? Acid. Ooh. You're eating too much sugar. Your stomach wasn't made for sugar. It was made for steak. 2 S's. One's good and the other's bad. Okay? Overactive bladder. Vertigo. Vertigo. Now look, you can get a virus and get vertigo. Okay? But a lot of times, and I saw this in my practice, for years and years and years. Vertigo, yeah, your insulin is high. Let's change the diet. Tinnitus, let's change. Those are indicators. Now, they can be indicating something else too. I understand that. I'm telling you what science says, okay? The real science. Joint pain, a lot of times, I talk about glycation in my books, that nasty aging of joints, joint pain. You know how many people on the reset got rid of their joint pain? Thousands. They couldn't believe it. It was dramatic for a lot of people. Not everyone, but guys, I'm telling you, okay? Leg cramps. Weak immune system. It could be vitamin D too. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Achilles tendon pain. Yep. Chronic tendonitis. Acne. Okay, those are all indicators. Let me give you some more. High blood pressure. Yeah, because there's nothing that will affect your blood pressure like your kidneys. It ain't salt, babe. It's sugar. It's not salt intake. It's salt retention. And if you insist on eating sugar, your body will retain sodium. You'll mess up. the water levels in your body. You really will. The Tale of Two Oceans. That's in my new book, by the way. Okay. Sarcopenia. Skinny people with insulin problems. Yeah, you can have weight gain, but you can be skinny as a rake and have metabolic syndrome. Gout. I brought to you that. You know, one of the biggest lies in the world is this whole thing about gout. And here's me, okay? Here's the way I think. I want you to come with me in my brain for a minute. I'm a deduction guy, okay? I'm a question guy, okay? And I'm old enough to have seen huge changes in, you know, what we call like a paradigm shift in the world of health, okay? And I watched it happen. I've been screaming like John the Baptist. I know I talk too loud. My wife's always going, would you tone that down a little bit? I know, but I think it was because we had 11 kids in our family. And, you know, who could scream the loudest? I was right near the top with this voice box. My son introduces me. We often did seminars together, and he'd introduce me. He said, my dad don't need a microphone. He has one built in his throat. My son not loud like me, okay? He's like his mother. Now, okay? But what I'm saying is, guys, okay? What I'm saying is, gout. I watched. I'm an observation guy. Why is gout? Question mark. Why? Is it up 300% since the 1980s? What went up 300%, by the way, since the 1980s? What went up? Yep, gout, diabetes, all these things, okay? They went up. What did we consume that went up 300% since the 1980s? High fructose corn syrup. The sugar, Pepsi and Coca-Cola in 1984. I've been around a long time, guys. In 1984, here's what they did. They switched sugars. They were joining, remember, Pepsi and Coke. Those are big companies, guys. They're part of the 8 or 10 companies that took over the food industry. Yeah. And so Pepsi, Quaker Oats, Coca-Cola, okay? They own almost everything. What did they do? They switched sugars. They switched sugars. Yep, to high fructose corn syrup. Oh, Dr. Martin, it must be good. Fructose, corn. Nah, it's made in a lab. It was designed inexpensive, and it'll hook you like cocaine. There's no sugar like Frankenstein sugar, high fructose corn syrup. You see, for me, I'm an observation guy. And I wrote this 30 years ago. I remember writing an article 30 years ago on gout. And I said, nah, gout is a fructose problem. It's a fructose problem. It's insulin, my friend. And, you know, it's not purines. Okay? And the article, I went on to say, they used to call gout the king's disease. And the king wasn't eating too much meat because the peasants were eating meat. The king was drinking too much beer and wine. Alcohol. Do you know that fructose and alcohol, they have the same rush to your liver? Okay? And fructose, oh, it must be good for me. Well, yeah, if you have a fruit, okay, and you eat it, you have an orange. God gave you fruit. What do I call them? God's candies. Don't live on them, but they're good. You got grapes. God's candies. Fructose. Oh, Dr. Martin, that's good for you. Yeah, it's all right. It is. But don't drink it. The worst thing you can do. Don't ever drink grape juice. Don't ever drink orange juice. Don't ever drink apple juice. Don't drink cranberry. I know, you ladies out there. Dr. Martin, I gotta have a little cranberry juice because it's really good for my bladder. You and I can have a little bit of a disagreement over that. You're feeding yeast in your bladder. Don't do that. Don't drink juice. Now, you can have Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. It's different. Don't drink juice. Fructose. Alcohol. I'm just telling you facts, guys. Fructose. And this high fructose corn syrup. And I've been yapping about this for so long, I know you must be sick of me talking about it. But I can't help myself. When I read an article based on studies that skin tags are indicators, I go, yep, I've said that. They're just giving us even more information on that. Your body will give you clues. Your body is fearfully, wonderfully made, and it doesn't have a red light on top of your head. Okay? Telling you, like, here's a flashing light, but the body does give indicators. Pain, digestive issues, skin tags, cataracts. Change your diet, change your diet, change your diet. Stop drinking fructose. Stop drinking. When you drink water. When you drink coffee. How many times do I have to tell you that? No, but I mean it. You think I'm just kidding? I'm not kidding. Okay. You can have a tea. Ooh, I don't know why you would drink tea when you can drink coffee. Tea doesn't have the antioxidant powers that coffee does, but I get it. You don't like coffee. Well, I feel sorry for you. It's really important what you drink, But people today, they want variety when they drink. Okay? I need variety. When you teach your kids, I really appreciated my son's home, okay? Because, my grandchildren, they were brought up water. After mommy's milk, because I love the dairy industry. They owe me money, by the way, okay? Because I'm always talking about, I don't ditch dairy, switch it. But because we don't have cows in the backyard anymore, I'm not big on drinking milk. If you're you have a little bit of cream or whatever, that's all right. But, you don't have to drink milk. Even a kid, what are you going to do without milk? Right? And, the dairy industry, you have to give them credit because they've been talking like this for 50. You're going to have, a kid needs to drink milk. They're going to have bad bones. That's the crazy thing. I'm in love with dairy when you eat it. Okay? And if milk was milk, I got no problem with it. But it's not milk, it's white Pepsi. They denatured it. So I tell people, what am I going to give my child? I said, are you finished breastfeeding? Yeah. Well, then water. That's what they drink. They can have solid food now. Well, get their dairy and solid food. You'll be surprised they're not going to have any. This is, I'll show you what my experience is. No more lactose intolerant. Which is 70, 80% of the population. Because it's drinking milk when you don't need it. You need mama's milk. And then after that, you eat your dairy. Eat it. I love dairy. Okay, I got excited, didn't I, this morning? And that never happens. That never happens. You guys are unreal, putting up with me. You know what? You can change habits. You really can. Let your body, or if your body's talking to you, listen, Linda, listen. Skin tags, listen, Linda, I'm talking. That's your body trying to get your attention. Listen. Listen. Okay. Oh, man, I have so much fun on here. I just can't get over it. Okay? Again, guess what tomorrow is? It's Question and Answer Friday. I like that. I love that. We enjoy that. Reminds me of my old radio days, live phone calls. That was more fun. Maybe we'll start doing some live one of these days. Okay? I don't mind that. I really don't. But we sure appreciate your questions on Question and Answer Friday. Okay? Again, guys, I just got to remind you, share information. Okay? Share it. Tell them about the Doctors In podcast. We appreciate that. And we thank you for being the greatest audience, and I mean it. The greatest audience in podcasting is our audience. It's the greatest audience. And you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for making this program such a success. Okay? Such a success. That's you guys. Okay. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.